Hey, Rich does the hosting. How in the heck are you today? Hey, listen, I didn't even take the time to pull my hair back in a ponytail tonight. Yeah. Got a quick little video here for you. Got talking to someone about electric vehicles and went out and did a little research on them. Here's a couple of interesting facts I found out. You know, they got electric diesel trucks now. Electric trucks, 18-wheelers. And a fellow from the American Trucking Association was saying the problem with this is if you took and replaced all the diesel trucks on the road today with electric diesel trucks, when these guys had to charge those, if you plugged in about half of them, you'd get to see quite the light show. It would cause things like the substations exploding, generators shorting out. Yeah, quite the problem. That's just with the 18-wheelers. I ran across a fellow when looking at all this. He did a TED Talk, and I'll put a link to it down here, and it's worth watching because he goes through the whole thing and kind of shows you where get through all the hype and the BS. They're not as green as they'd like you to believe they are. Okay. Yeah, they don't run on fossil fuels, but to an extent, technically they do. Fossil fuels is what charges them. When they look at the entire cost of the process and so forth, they suddenly don't become any greener, really, than the average automobile on the road today. Scary, huh? Worth taking a look at. I'll put a link in the description. Won't take long on this. I've got several clips that kind of go through what I'm talking about. You know, I always say infrastructure first when you're working on the farm. You know, make sure you got livestock handling capabilities and everything is there so that you can function. That is the problem with these EVs. We do not have the infrastructure. Our electrical system will not handle the load. If everybody was driving these, we would have to first replace the electrical grid in the good old US of A. It wouldn't handle the pull. Think on that one just a minute. And if you short it out, then you're going to be in the dark while they're fixing it. Before they start trying to drive us out of combustion engines because of pricing, they might want to think, what's going to happen if all of a sudden we get everybody into an electric vehicle and it shuts down the nation's electric grid? What do we do then? How do we handle that? Well, politicians don't think that far in advance. See, most people think the politicians are supposed to be the best and the brightest the country has to offer. Listen to them talk. 5 minutes of listening to somebody like Maxine Waters and some of these kind of fools talking, you quickly understand you don't have the best and the brightest sitting up there in Washington, D.C. You may have the most corrupt and crooked people, but as far as being smart, nope. Kamala Harris, she's a walking example of what goes wrong with politicians and her boss. So, yeah, no. They know their talking points, and they all get out there and rattle it. And I'm talking both parties here, period. But think on this. Take a look at the TED Talk on that. It's worth seeing. And this is a pretty short little video, so it won't take you long to go through it. But try to make it put a little smile in there every now and again. But that's where we're at, folks. We don't have the infrastructure to go totally electric vehicles in this country. And most countries do not have the grid to handle it. So that's a lie. We can't switch over to electric vehicles. It won't work. Not until we go through step one, have clean, reliable energy sources, which would be like nuclear, wind, solar, once the technology got there to where it would make it feasible to use those things. Secondly, you'd have to replace most of the electric grid's components to handle the load. It's not designed for that. So, something to think about. Watch that little TED Talk. Enjoy the video. Hope you guys have a great week. We'll be putting up some more stuff right away. One of the things that I want to get started on, and I'm starting to do the videos up on it, is it's going to be the Wake Up America call. And it's going to kind of point out to you folks just what a crisis we're in and how far and how bad it's getting and what you might be able to do to help stop it. I'm talking about putting pressure on the politicians. We got a good opportunity. We're right here heading into elections. It's time to insist on having town halls with these guys and being at those town halls and saying, hey, how are you going to vote on this? Will you put a bill in on that? Start letting them know, I'll give you my support as long as you do what we're looking for you to do. It's time to take America back, folks, while we still got an America. Because if we keep going down the path we're going down, we're not going to be around much longer. I'm serious. We're not going to be around much longer. And this series will show you some of the ways we are being cut off at the knees. We better wake up. On that cheery note, get on with the video. Have a good one.
At least pre-COVID, 25 million children in America a day go to school on those school buses, breathing those toxic fumes from diesel buses. Studies have shown what that will do to impact their ability to learn. And who are the children who go to school on the bus? Usually the children who don't have the neighborhood school, children who don't have, their parents may not have a car to take them to school. We know who is likely demographically to go to school on that bus. We know demographically who is likely to drive that bus every day, also breathing those fumes.
Bless her heart. There's a tree stump in Louisiana that has a higher IQ.
Côté du boulot.
Batteries on sale up to Walmart.
The future of automobiles undeniably electric. The transition is bringing with it some challenges. While they provide a path towards reduced emissions, EVs can be especially dangerous when they catch fire.
There have been some really high-profile fires at homes in the United States, parking structures in Europe and in China.
If that vehicle's in your garage and it's charging and this problem occurs, we'll likely take the car and the garage and potentially the home.
Car fires are nothing new. In 2020 alone, there were 173,000 highway vehicle fires, resulting in 580 fatalities, 1,500 injuries, and $1.6 billion in property damage in the US. But when an EV catches on fire, it's a different story. Lithium-ion batteries are extremely volatile and incredibly challenging to put out.
These fires burn hotter, they burn longer, they take more water.
The industry.
Over the years, lithium-ion batteries have seen significant improvements in energy density, and while this has enabled more powerful batteries, it made them more vulnerable.
You had to do lots of things to optimize it. One of them was to reduce the space between the two electrodes. But as you get closer and closer to each other, the chances of a short increases.
A key ingredient in batteries is liquid organic electrolyte, but it is also one of the most flammable.
Liquid electrolyte, like gasoline, is a flammable liquid, and it could get into what's called a thermal runaway situation, where it just started, sort of boiling the liquid, and it results in a fire.
Today's batteries are very safe, and for large ones, such as those in EVs, cells are meticulously controlled through a battery management system.
It has to maintain the right operating temperature for the battery. Then within that operating temperature range, the other aspect of it is how fast does it charge or discharge.
But there are rare instances where defects or damage cause issues.
We don't know the exact frequency of failure for lithium-ion cells,
We assume it's somewhere between 1 in 10 million and 1 in 40 million.
Battery electric vehicle fires can happen due to defects in the actual battery cells or in the pack architecture. The battery pack design matters, and so does the quality of manufacturing.
And when they're fully charged, that's when they're the most dangerous.
Think of it as a fuel tank. If you have a fuel tank in a standard combustion engine and it's completely full and you develop a fire, you have a lot of fuel load, you're gonna have a long burning fire. It's the exact same concept with batteries.
The battery problem is unique to electric vehicles, but non-crash fire risk is not unique to electric vehicles.
Car fires are unfortunately nothing new. Internal combustion engine vehicles continue to have issues. Vehicle fires accounted for 16% of the 1.3 million fires reported to U.S. fire departments. Most of these are caused by mechanical or electrical failures and malfunctions. But non-crash fires, those that occur when a vehicle is idle or not in use, are extremely uncommon overall.
There's only about one claim for every 10,000 insured vehicles, so it's a pretty rare event.
Experts are still trying to determine non-crash EV fire incident rates.
The data that we've looked at so far doesn't indicate that there is an outsized risk of non-crash fire for electric powered.
I'm about to kick your butt from here to Christmas and dare you to walk back.